Chelsea went trophyless in the 2021-22 season, but the campaign was far from a disappointment. The Blues finished third in the Premier League and reached 2 cup finals, only losing both on penalties after a summer of extravagant spending that saw players like Fofana, Cucurella, Sterling and others arrive at Stamford Bridge. The Blues team ready to take the next step and challenge for the league. While the firing of Thomas Tuchel came as a surprise, Graham Potter's incredible work at Brighton and many hoping for the Englishman would find similar success. However, things haven't quite gone to the script. 21 points from 14 games prior to the World Cup break saw Chelsea languishing outside the top 6 places. The Blues registered a convincing 2-0 win against Bournemouth following the resumption of the season, and many thought the West London club were finally on an upward trajectory to make a run for the UCL. But after a 1-1 draw against relegation of threatened Nottingham Forest, has since again marred the sense of optimism, and obviously losses to Man City as well. Chelsea are currently 10th in the table and are the lowest scoring team in the top half with just 20 goals in 16 games. Apart from a lack of attacking threat, many other issues also surround the club, including key departures and panic signing. Really, the recruitment in the summer. Rudiger, Christensen and Werner also left Chelsea. Losing a large number of players can be damaging for any club. Initially, the club did make good signings like Raheem Sterling, who is Chelsea's top scorer in the Premier League, and a few young stars like Omari Hutchinson, who is lighting up Premier League 2 with 5 goals in 11 appearances. Nevertheless, there were also some questionable ones. The club chose to bring in an ageing Koulibaly and splash the cash on Cucurella, a last-minute transfer for the ageing star in Aubameyang. Lastly, the most puzzling has to be the signing of Denis Zakaria on loan, with the Swiss midfielder making only 4 appearances so far. Unsurprisingly, none of these players have made a mark, and Cucurella and Koulibaly is struggling to adapt. Aubameyang's goals have dried up with only 1 goal in 8 Premier League appearances, while Fofana continues to struggle with his injury, with his last game coming in October 2022. These signings are all examples of panic buying. As the club lost numerous valuable players, they chose to replace them with anyone half-decent, spending and gambling unnecessarily on struggling and ageing stars. We also need to look at the behind-the-scenes drama. The whole process of selling the club has been dramatic, to say the least. Late last season, all the club's accounts were frozen, naturally deterring the focus on the players and backroom staff at the time. Eventually, the club was taken over by American billionaire Tom Bowley, but things still are not going swimmingly. There are multiple reports of disagreements over signings between owner and then manager Thomas Tuchel, and most notably over Cristiano Ronaldo. There also seems to be a difference in how both of them envision the future of the club, with the latter being the highlighted reason as to why Tuchel was given a sack after a mediocre start. With the behind-the-scenes situation does not directly impact results on the pitch, the constant change in backroom staff and uncertainty over the future has largely impacted players. Tuchel is an imperious figure within Chelsea, and his departure is one of the major reasons why Chelsea is struggling. And just in general, it's just poor decision-making, isn't it? Just over the last few seasons, it's had a direct effect on the dire situation they find themselves in. Since billionaire Roman Abramovich took over in 2003, Chelsea have been driven by short-term success. Any manager who goes through a period of poor results is subject to the sack, as evident in a club appointing 17 different managers in the past 20 years. Where this method has delivered success in the past, there seems to be major issues with it now. The primary one being a manager is being financially backed in the transfer window and then being sacked. Frank Lampard was heavily backed in 2020, with the Englishman spending north of 200 million, yet after a disappointing set of results was sacked. Similarly, 2 years later, we see the same pattern. Tuchel was given a war chest to spend last summer and sacked a little over a month into the season. The fundamental errors keep being made by the club, and it's left them in transition. Every manager likes to implement their system, and not giving them time to use the signings is simply a waste. At Chelsea, every incoming manager has to work with the players they have been given, and this hardly works in the long run. Arsenal and their treatment of Mikel Arteta is an excellent example of what giving time to a manager can do to ensure success in the long run. The point was also highlighted by former Arsenal striker Thierry Henry when Tuchel was sacked. I was actually surprised, given how the game is at the minute. What I was surprised about is, why do you allow him to bring in all of these players and then sack him after? That brings us to Zola, where Graham Potter is now having to recover an ailing team. The season of recovery is long due, but for Chelsea's sake, it's important Potter is given time and allowed to work with the players he wants. Otherwise, the club will be in transition for another couple of years, you'd have thought. Anyway guys, that's it for today. Thanks very much for watching. To like, share, subscribe, don't forget to comment, for daily football news and subscribe to our channel, that'd be greatly appreciated. Thanks very much for watching. Peace!